Pisces, welcome to Healing Hype Man. This is your general message for Sun, Moon, and Rising signs of Pisces. Let's dive in. Can I hear? Okay, yeah, the mic's working. And so, Pisces, you're in your element of water. I can definitely say that, right? You're in your element of water. 10 of Cups, the Chariot, and King of Cups here. This is the present energy. I also pulled like where this is coming from, and then we'll figure out where we're going here. And what I have to say, wow, it's just you're moving forward with a sense of emotional awareness, right? Perhaps you know what could make you happy, right? And for everyone, what makes you happy is individual. And what I also like to add here and sprinkle on here, right, is happiness is a short-term temporary emotion, right? It's never consistent, 24 hours, 7 days a week, happiness. But peace, right? Happiness versus peace. Peace is a state of being, right? You can have a peaceful job. You can have a peaceful life. You can have a peaceful family. You can have a peaceful home, right? So you can strive for that. So there is an aspect here that you're moving forward with a sense of emotional security. It could be emotional security with you. You could have confirmed that you know what it is that you want from life, right? You know what you want your happy ending to look like. 10 of Cups, right? Big energy, got to be honest. King of Cups, big energy, right? The most emotionally mature, intellectually aware, emotional intelligence, right? with another water sign. So it's very watery here. Now, how we got here, I feel like you gained clarity on something that you were stuck in, right? I think that there's some aspect here to you very well might not really know 100% where it's going, but there's something about the unknown that's being present. 9 of Swords, you were trapped in something. King of Swords, you gain clarity. You're logical. You were logical about some aspect, or you at least are. You can speak to where you were, and you might not have liked where you were. It might have been too unfamiliar and unknown at the same time. And then you gained a sense of clarity of some kind, or you opened your heart and now you're moving forward and from a heart space. I like how it went from the mind space to a heart space, right? It's like head over heart. Like logically, maybe something kept you confined and restricted and self-sabotage or some aspect of you holding back. And it seems like you moved forward into something that is a lot more heart-centered space, right? Let's clarify these and see what these are about. Tell me about this. Tell me about these cards, 10 of Cups and the Chariot and the King of Cups. Let's see. Queen of Cups. Wow. So you nurtured an aspect. Maybe you really thought about, what does nurturing myself, how can I nurture my fulfillment? How can I nurture what abundance looks like for me? Maybe some of you actually nurtured abundance, right? Like you're like, let me take care of my emotional state. But that's really telling me like, how can I take care of getting to the big thing that I want, right? My happy ending, how can I complete this cycle, right? So you really nurtured and took care of and tended to this garden of some kind, Pisces. You were curious about what life, you started thinking about like, okay, well, what's next? How can I keep going, right? So I like that curiosity aspect on a card that symbolizes I want to keep moving. This is like, okay, now I'm curious on like what's next for me or where this is going, right? Curiosity, I think, is an aspect that we should all embody in our day-to-day because we live in a world that's very uncertain and in a space where you might be in spaces that are not very safe, right? And the only thing that can be safe, I want to say, is the only space that is safe is you, right? There's no place you can go that's actually safe, but you can embody that aspect of safety and and forward movement. And clarifying the King of Cups is the 4 of Swords. So you've also gone internal, right? Perhaps you've looked at what your values are and what emotionally fulfills you. This is an aspect of you. You've been quiet about what emotionally satisfies you, and maybe now you're more vocal about it, or you're able to speak to it. I like this energy. Just feels like you went from a very stuck place and you're like, no, I'm going to do what feels right. And that's what feels right saying too, right? As I read these cards and these are my interpretations, and that's the energy that I'm getting here for us, right? For my Pisceans. Let's what do we want to figure out here? What do we want to figure out here? What do we need to be aware of, right? Let's pull out. What do we need to be aware of? Two of Pentacles, your priorities, your confidence, and staying open-hearted. I feel like that's like a prereq to something. The way I just said it, right? It's like, hey, what you need to be aware of, like, make sure we're juggling the priorities that are meant for us here. Perhaps we are juggling the priorities where we're shifting our priority to like, okay, I want to focus on like what's risky, what's something that I always wanted to do, and how can I implement that into my life, right? That sounds like what we do in like therapy. Like, where's it that you want to go, and how can I support you in that? Right? Are your actions and your day-to-day routine aligned with where it is that you want to go, or how did you want to feel? Because there's a lot of emotional fulfillment here. So, Alvin, I'm striving for this 10 of Cups and emotional contentment, and I want to feel good. Okay, then I'm going to go to the thing. What does your day-to-day look like, and are we doing things that are congruent with where we want to go? And that's what you need to be aware of. Like, make sure we're prioritizing and we're balancing things that are going to be of value for us, and not to juggle things that are, I don't want to say a waste of time, but priorities do they align with where you want to go, right? Another aspect is, don't forget how confident. Don't forget to be brave in certain circumstances, right? Change is the only aspect that's going to get you to see some different results. So being brave in going after what it is you want. With the Knight of Cups, it's just be brave to put those offers out there. Be brave and find that inner strength to go and seek the emotional fulfillment that you're looking for. And I would say here, since the question was, what do you need to be aware of? I would say that don't juggle BS. I'm being very honest. Watch your ego, and be open to opportunities. Wear your heart on your sleeve. So what that would tell me is, like, don't be rigid and boring and bland. Like, care a little bit more, right? And let's see, where is this going? Tell me, where is this going? Where is this going? Yeah, this is pretty simple here, right? I really like this energy for, wow, where's this going? Two of Cups. Well, Four of Cups, Ace of Cups. Wow. It's just taking you to such an emotional space. It's taking you to such a place where you really will be able to connect with people, and you're going to know your worth, right? It is taking you to a space where you're like, I know what I want. Right? If it's not going to fill my cup up, I'm not down for that. So, right, this is like a focus on you, Pisces. I got to be very honest. This is like, I'm going to do what I would like to do. It very well can bring in other people into your life, a connection of some kind, right? It could bring a connection to some kind, but I feel like it's also really connecting you, right? The 2 to the 4 to the 1. So it tells me that there's the 3 here. Yeah, there's two. Connections. I would say multiple connections. Like, yes, could they be romantic? Absolutely. I feel like this is definitely opening you up to connect with people in general, because you have the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4. So there's a progression here that's evolving in going from pouring into yourself or receiving emotions and support and love from spirit, and then you go into connecting with others, and then you go into having fun with people, right? The 3 of Cups would be having fun with group settings. And then the 4 of Cups is like perhaps maybe reevaluating and like, oh, is this really for me? Right? So which tells me that you do know what it is that you want, right? Some of us could be like, oh, I don't need anything else. I feel content in some way. Some of you might be a little restrictive in the amount, I would say the amount of people that are coming your way. You might not be as open to it because there might be some pride there, right? So, but I like where this is going. It's a journey of really understanding your emotional world, right? Identifying emotions, expressing emotions, having empathy, which just speaks to emotional intelligence here, right? And let's just talk about that really quick. For those of you that don't know what emotional intelligence is, it's four components, typically four components. That's going to consist of self-awareness. Do you know who you are? Do you know why you wake up in the morning? Do you know what pushes your buttons? Do you know who pushes your buttons, right? Do you know what sets you off? Do you know what makes you happy, right? That's that aspect of self-awareness. I know myself and maybe a lot of, typically it's in all aspects of situations, right? With people, places, and things. I know myself when I'm in conflict. I know myself when I'm home. I know what pushes my buttons when I'm by myself. I know what pushes my buttons when I'm outside. But then the positive aspect to that, or the other spectrum of that is I know what actually fulfills me when I step outside. I know what recharges me, what grounds me. I know what kind of relationships work well for me, right? Like that aspect of I know myself. And the component number two is going to be self-regulation, right? I can manage my own emotions. My emotions are not leading the show, right? Which means like, did your anger just blow that up and now you're huffing and puffing at everybody, right? The aspect that I can regulate, I can ground, I have my deep breathing exercises, or I've desensitized my triggers to the point that they no longer consume me anymore, right? That aspect of like, you're able to regulate yourself in certain circumstances around people, places, and things. So those are the first two. Then it's going to be empathy. So I'm considerate of other people. If I were them, putting yourself in their shoes, if I were them, I would actually be upset too. So maybe my approach or my delivery is going to be a certain way, right? I typically look at emotional intelligence from the lens of like conflict resolution. Like how would you act if this situation was happening to you the opposite way around, right? Having sympathy for someone, if you're seeing that something's happening, like how would you feel, right? So being able to empathize with somebody else and truly understand, or at least be able to put yourself in their shoes. And then the fourth component is going to be social skills. Can I engage with people because I know myself, because I can regulate myself, and because I'm considerate of other people? Now I'm going to go out and I'm going to socialize with people. And that's connecting with people, which is a big aspect to your reading, Pisces, where you're connecting with people. So all that to say that that's emotional intelligence there, right? Right. And also like know when to say no. And I see that here. Oh, I guess that Four of Cups could speak to like emotional intelligence. It typically is pictated like stubbornness, but like just because someone's emotionally intelligent doesn't mean that they're definitely not a yes man, right? Definitely not a yes man. They're more of a no man because they know themselves. They're like, hell no, right? So it comes with that healthy anger. We need healthy anger in order to set boundaries. We need help. We were actually born with healthy anger to set boundaries and to say no and know when to run, right? We are inherently born with healthy anger because when something is dangerous, that is when anger comes up to defend, run, right? So that's what an emotionally intelligent aspect or lens looks like. And I really feel like you have found that here. And I'm going to leave. I was pulling shamanic healing. So let's do that. Let's pull a shamanic healing, see what wants to come through. I think Pisces got the longest reading so far. One more shuffle, okay. All is good. Wow. I can't make this shit up. Literally all is good. Literally. I would say from the emotional space, from the inside out, I want to say that. Ooh, because I see the circle and the spiral goes from the inside out. There isn't a spiral, but it's circles. But I noticed the inside out. All is good, and it starts with the inside. Physical things aren't going to make you as good as it will feel when you're good on from the inside out. Or material things, right, from the outside in. Right? I could have this beautiful room looking, but if I don't feel good from the inside, then this room is just an external expression of how I want to be. But you align with things like that when you're good from the inside out, then the external factors start manifesting in how you feel, right? That's that vibrational output, right? All right, I'm gonna leave that right there. Let me know what your thoughts below. My name is Alvin Catalan. I'm present. I'm done speaking now.